Hey, Aquarius, Mel, Intuitive Coach here, excited to bring in your August 2025 monthly reading. If you are interested in a personal reading, signing up for the monthly newsletter, or entering into the free reading giveaway, you can find all of that information in the description box below the video. All right, Aquarius, key themes for the month ahead. You have letting go, romance, and bliss. Beautiful. It's funny because this morning as I was on my morning hike, I was in the middle of climbing as there's a bluffy, rocky terrain that I climb over on my morning hike, and I was watching where I was stepping, of course, because one wrong step I could, tumble over the side. And I remember stopping and thinking of you, Aquarius, because Aquarius is my moon. And I remember thinking it's okay to stop and take in the scenery. It's okay to stop and focus on my breath instead of constantly focusing on the climb. And I'm getting that message here for you where something you have been hanging on to or focusing on, it feels like you're either releasing, letting go, or you're seeing it from perhaps a different angle or a higher perspective. You actually have here the 10 of Swords in your reading with letting go. So this tells me that you have released a burden, or this could be the time where you're finally liberating yourself from something that felt like a deep lesson, right? You had to watch your footing, like watch how you were moving forward. Otherwise you'd fall off the edge. It feels like this could be emotional. This could be mental. Perhaps this has to do with a relationship because you do have romance here, but I feel like you are finally free. Aquarius, this is significant for you, and you have some powerful major arcanas. You actually have 4 out of 7 major arcanas, which tells me this is a monumental time in your life. Major arcanas are big milestones. So this is something that you've been navigating through for quite some time. This is about goodbyes, growth, ascension, closure, life lessons, right? As I mentioned, watching my footing because climbing bluffs, you have to be careful. And I see here that you were treading lightly, you were observing, and you were focusing here on the path ahead instead of, stopping from time to time to really check in. And not that you weren't doing that, but it almost feels like you've reached your destination or you've completed that journey or that trek. And now you get to see how far you have come. This is big. You have romance here. This could be marriage. Some of you are either exiting out of a soul contract, or perhaps you have been rolling it solo, or there's been some challenges that you are overcoming. It feels like you're entering into a new phase of the heart. So there certainly could be new connections here. Some of you may be widowed, or perhaps there's been a relationship, maybe even within family dynamics. It doesn't have to just be romantic here, but I feel like this is a bond or a union that you may have felt like you had to navigate through and learn some of these lessons that were maybe even deeply karmic or rooted in past conditioning here. But I feel like you are making space for trust, intimacy, passion. You're making space for a strong bond and soulmate connection to enter your world, or maybe a current soulmate bond to be strengthened here in some way. Yeah, there's definitely a release of burdens because you have the bliss as your outcome. This is like the sun. It's a beautiful energy here of happiness. After a long journey, it's like you get to rest. You get to take that sip of water and just take in the views. It feels like you have reached this higher peak. You've ascended. Basically, you have ascended here. This is heaven on earth, happiness, sunshine and joy. This is your yes card. It's about freedom and wish fulfilled. So I definitely see you moving in a powerful new direction, letting go of the expectations, letting go of what no longer serves you, or just letting go of a cycle that you have been enduring and maybe even self-developing. You've been looking at maybe past dynamics, the relationship dynamics that have played out between you and others, maybe you and others in your career, your clients. This could be family structures. Perhaps there's been a reconfiguring, if you will. You have the timing at the bottom of the deck. It feels like this has taken a bit of time. You have been guided to trust here in the process. And I see that results are showing up. You are starting to see the proof of evidence in your material world, but also in your body, in your mind, in your spirit, in your emotions. Whatever this was that you were carrying, it feels heavy. Okay, it does. It feels heavy, or it feels like there may have been grief attached to it, maybe even betrayal or long time resentments, or just something that you've been heavily working on to become a better version of yourself. And I see that the patience is paying off. You're seeing results here. And I feel like divine timing is at play, because you actually have the Chariot showing up here at the bottom of the deck. And this is the turning point. This is forward momentum, getting back into a space where you feel like you are the one in the driver's seat of your life. And some of you may have felt for a while that you were in the trunk, right? You may have felt like, oh my gosh, I don't even know who's driving me. I don't know where I'm at. It's dark. I feel stuck. And I just feel like you are getting in the driver's seat of your life here. And so there is forward progress. There's forward momentum. This is victory. It is a fast energy. It's the fastest moving energy in tarot. Some of you could even be traveling, or you may connect to others out of the blue, or it could be relationships that transpire quickly. It could even be endings that happened quickly here for you. But this is the turning point that gets everything back into a phase of growth, where you're seeing the growth here in a positive, blissful way. All right, let's dive into the tarot. So we're starting off with the moon. You know, it's interesting, an interesting dichotomy. You have the moon here and basically the sun with the bliss card. Now, there's been anxiety, right? There's been shadows. There's been secrets. There's been illusions. We have some transits at this time, especially Neptune. We have some planets that could be showing us the truth from illusion. And I feel like you are using your own intuitive knowing. You are using discernment here to take a look at fears and ask yourself, are these fears real? Is this something that is showing up as proof? Is there evidence of this fear? And so I see that you're really working with your subconscious and bringing things to the conscious here in order for you to let go of them. This is a big deal. And it looks like you're leaning more into your instincts here. As the truth is exposed, I feel like it kind of gives less power to the fear, right? It doesn't feed into the anxiety or the fear once things are out in the open here for you. You have the Emperor showing up here. The Emperor is about gaining control and stability of your life. And I just mentioned that here with the Chariot. So yeah, you're in the driver's seat for sure. You could be leveling up here, bossing up for some of you in maybe your business or your career. This is about taking the reins and saying, this is the direction I am going. I am bringing more order and stability into my life. And for others of you, perhaps there was a divine masculine that was showing up as maybe not as disciplined as you thought they were, or they weren't as stable as maybe you had hoped. It feels like there's a rebalancing taking place. There's a divine order, if you will, that is showing up here for you. And I really have this strong pull towards you really leveling up here, ascending. They keep showing me the hike I was on this morning, and being able to just stop and take in the views. And actually on my hike this morning, I had seen two beautiful fawns that were laying there, and they were just laying, and it was probably for about 45 minutes from the one end of the hike to the other, and I came back and they were still there. And then also I had seen a beautiful baby bunny. So some of you, there's a message around softness, maybe does or deer or fawns or even bucks could be significant. Maybe you've seen one recently, but I'm getting the gentleness and the compassion, but also the strength in trusting one's own intuition. And then of course, the baby bunny represents fertility and abundance. So some of you are going to see your abundance multiplied. And I see that there's more stability showing up. There's more support showing up for you. This is a big step up here in a way that it kind of takes you in a completely different direction, but you had to put in that work, which I see you've done. You've had to grieve maybe an old identity or an old life or an old, energy that you had experienced in order to fully step into where you are meant to be. You have the Queen of Pentacles here. Some of you, this is regarding your finances, your home. It feels like things are starting to move forward here in terms of wealth and even support, maybe around the home. This is your stability. And I'm getting a huge energy around your well-being, even physical, your body, because the pentacle realm is your material world. It is your finances, your home, your possessions, your health, and your body. And it feels like that's where the evidence is at. You've been doing the inner work and you're starting to see the outer proof of the work that you have done. Excuse me. There is something here around having support, having resources that are showing up for you at this time, financial structure, financial, maybe a turning point when it comes to your finances or stability here. I also see that some of you could be promoted, or perhaps you are a business owner, but yet you're taking care of your family. Maybe you have children here, maybe pets or animals that are like your children. But I definitely see that you are someone who has worked hard, Aquarius, for your material wealth. You may be someone who's very frugal, very resourceful, or that is something you have worked on, is maybe being more mindful of how you are spending your money, what you spend your money on. I see that you're very business savvy here. This is about you being stable and secure within who you are. So beautiful energy showing up here. Now, moving into this 10 of Swords, this is the letting go. Maybe letting go of the anxieties, letting go of rigidity. I'm getting a little bit of this Emperor sideways. So this tells me that some of you could be shaking up a routine. Maybe you've been in this routine due to grief or due to maybe deception or betrayal, maybe some sort of an ending. It feels like you've been, I don't want to say non-existent. That seems harsh, but maybe that's how it feels, like the trunk, right? Perhaps you feel like you haven't been actively participating in your world. Maybe you feel like you haven't been an active parent or a wife or a husband or, a business owner. It feels like there was a part of you that was being pulled out of a role in some way due to this heaviness, due to the burden, and you are coming back to a sense of wholeness. You have really completed and worked through these difficult times, these lessons, and I just feel like you are feeling free, right? You're feeling free. You're liberating yourself from that grief here. As these tears are being shed, they're actually watering here this beautiful flower, and the flower is a red, orange, yellow. This is the first 3 chakras. So this has to do again with your stability, your sense of belonging, your finances, your relationships, your power, personal power. So I definitely see you working on those 3 chakras. Now you have here the Hierophant. He is the wisdom keeper. He is our teacher. You could be a teacher. You could be a mentor, or you may have someone like this in your life, someone who can help you evolve and grow and understand the lessons and experiences that you've gone through. For others of you, you may be the one that is helping others out at this time. You may be called to take what you have learned, and because you've processed the emotions, because you've reached this ascendant peak, it feels like you now have the wisdom, the story to be able to share with others and help them in some way. You have worked heavily, you've worked heavily on your belief system, shedding belief systems, reprogramming the mind through neuroplasticity, telling yourself a new story. Your guides here are so proud of you, Aquarius, for how far you've come. They are so proud that you have this heightened sense of awareness. You have spiritual gifts that help you navigate and make sure that you are placing your feet, so to speak, where they need to be so you don't fall over the edge. You are protected, and I feel like you are being divinely redirected here. You have the Three of Wands as your momentum here, as your outcome. This is hitting that refresh button. Yeah, this is about you taking in that big breath of life. This is about you feeling more energized, more revitalized. The Three of Wands is manifesting power. And I see here that you have been planning. As I mentioned, you have been planning your next move, because success here, happiness, bliss is a move away emotionally and mentally. And that tells me that you are ready to fully embody this energy of joy. Okay, there is a part of you in the past that may have felt a bit overwhelmed or may have hesitated, questioning, do I deserve happiness, or am I ready for happiness or joy or bliss or this wish? Whatever this is for you showing up, whatever heaven on earth means, this is that higher 5D energy. You are ready. And I feel like you had to process some big things, because those big things are the wisdom pieces that you're taking with you into this next journey. And this is about you having the courage to explore and to open yourself up to the success that is waiting for you with open arms. Now that could of course be in love. You do have romance. For others of you, you could be exiting out of a dynamic. Like I mentioned, letting go, whatever it is you're letting go of. I feel like it's first expectations. It is the beliefs that have held you back. It is the fears, the anxieties, and you're pushing through them. It feels like you're breaking out of the trunk and you're saying, I got the keys. I am in the driver's seat. I'm moving forward. And it feels like you're rejoining life again in some way. So let's take a look at health. Some of you may have had issues with possible heart chakra, maybe anxiety, depression, heaviness in the chest region, or maybe even anxiety or panic attacks. Please do see the disclaimer. I feel also that some of you may have been, now this isn't going to resonate with everyone, and it is totally normal. Many adults can feel this way, but some of you may have been afraid of the dark, or you may have been afraid of the shadows, right? Maybe there was a part of you that, you felt very isolated, very alone, and the dark may have felt like a very empty space. Maybe it's not that you thought monsters were going to come out under the bed, but there was a feeling of, am I protected? Am I safe? Am I supported? And I see that that's something you are letting go of as the light starts to re-enter here. Now for health, some of you also perhaps have struggled with, I'm getting here, the aging or the growth process, maybe gray hairs, maybe wrinkles. This can also be aches and pains of the bones and the body. But I feel like you are trying to focus on getting exercise. Some of you may be walking. Maybe you're trying to eat more whole foods, cutting out, right? Letting go of certain foods that cause you to feel bloated or cause inflammation. Sometimes this emperor can be like old war wounds or old battle wounds in some way. Perhaps you have gone through maybe a sports injury. Okay. Maybe someone had like a shoulder surgery even, or hips I'm getting here. And because we talked about the lower 3 chakras, it can be your feet, your ankles, your knees, your hips, your legs. And then of course, the sacral can be reproductive. And then the solar plexus can be gut issues, stomach, digestion. So these may be issues that you are overcoming, right? Letting go of as you're finding solutions. And I feel like you are being mindful, just like in the hike this morning, I was being mindful of where I was stepping. So you may be mindful of what you are putting into your body and whom you are engaging with, what you are watching on social media. I mean, holistic health has to do with the whole picture of your body, your mind, and your spirit. And I see here that you are aware. Spirit is saying here that is something that has increased for you, is your sense of awareness. And I just now noticed Aquarius on the Chariot card, she is in the woods. It's like she's been on that hike, but she's coming up to this clearing. The sun is blossoming. That goes hand in hand with the bliss card here. And there's poppy flowers ahead. There's a path ahead. And even though there are some mountains in the far off distance, it feels like you're able to navigate through life's challenges with more ease because you have this enlightenment. There's something here that has shown you more clarity, more illumination. All right, let's take a look at wealth. Money, abundance, finances. You have the transporter here. Some of you could be drivers. Perhaps you're in real estate. Maybe you are dealing with travel in some way, Airbnb. I mean, maybe you are a truck driver. I mean, this could even be like Uber or taxiing. This card could indicate that things will start moving for you rather quickly. And that's also, again, aligns with that Chariot. So things are going to speed up here for you when it comes to money or wealth. I see things definitely manifesting. The green light, you see the green light is actually here on the card where some of you felt like you were sitting at that darn red light forever, right? It seems like I'm sitting there, you're watching all of the other lights change and you're like, wait a second, did they skip over me? Am I going to continue sitting here for another, 10 minutes? What is happening? And it's through that sacred pause, through that divine pause where some of what you had learned is coming into action, such as patience, right? Patience is such a big one. Understanding of how certain systems work. I feel like you are relaxing or easing into some of the fears or anxieties that you have had, and it doesn't feel like you are causing things, or not so much causing, but I'm getting the phrase like turning an anthill into a molehill. When we tend to catastrophize things or we tend to blow things out of proportion. I don't know about you guys. I've done that a time or two where I feel like things have been, so much bigger than they are. But I have learned, and this is through programming, it's still something that if I catch myself starting to spiral, I default back into the new learned system of, wait a second, the world's not falling apart here. It's going to be okay. I trust that this is going to get figured out. I am protected. There will be support when I need it. So not allowing the little things to cause you big eruptions. And that is something you may be working on here. You could travel for work, or perhaps you need to take action on some financial matters. You could have a career in transportation, such as travel, driving, or shipping could appear to you or appeal to you. I'm also getting here maybe expanding your target market. Some of you could even be traveling in the near future. Maybe August is a travel month, or you are booking tickets for later in the year. I feel like this is something worthy of spending money on, or this could even be a business write-off for you, or it could be a business expense that your company covers. You have labor. Some of you could be getting labor work done, maybe on a vehicle. This could be on, a product in your home. Maybe this is a dishwasher or a washer or dryer, a refrigerator. It could be some sort of appliance or mechanical issue. This may be something that you help with, or you are maybe a do-it-yourselfer, maybe you're able to fix something of that nature, or you're able to call in support to help you out. Your hard work also, that's another message here with the labor. Your hard work will pay off soon, because a lot of you have been putting your nose to the grindstone, hustling, right? Or it feels that way, even if it feels like you have been in a pause. I feel like your mind has been hustling, right? You've been strategizing, and that takes as much energy as, the physical labor at times, right? So this is about your hard work paying off. It also talks of construction, maintenance, painting, or any kind of labor work, maybe showing up for you. I also see some of you maybe fixing up a property, or maybe you are in the business of again, like real estate, or buying fixer-upper houses, or maybe this is something you are doing so you could get ready to sell, or maybe you're purchasing something that you're fixing up, maybe an office space. But I feel when it comes to wealth and money, you're definitely going to be rewarded. So keep at it. Keep moving forward here. You are getting in the driver's seat of your own life, especially when it comes to career. And because you have the Emperor here, I definitely see you're in the hot seat here. People look up to you. I feel like you may be needing to get more organized in your business, or organized in your company. Maybe it's felt a bit chaotic. There's been a lot of anxiety. There could be some support. I'm getting IT as well. Maybe some sort of IT, or maybe even administrative help or tasks could be coming in to bring in some sort of order. There may even be someone who's left the workspace. Maybe someone has left abruptly, or maybe there's a changeover of bosses. Okay, maybe a boss leaves and a new boss comes in, like a new shift in structure or management. Now you have the hand here, manifesting money. And because the Three of Wands is showing up, you are definitely reaching some goals here. There could be financial assistance, or again, some form of resource or support, but this is hands-on work, help getting a job, or it could be you work with your hands. Maybe some of you are massage therapists. You could be energy practitioners. Some of you build things. Maybe you're a painter, or you're making jewelry or bath salts or candles. Whatever it is that you are doing here, it feels like you are reaching some of these financial goals, and it looks really good. Some of you have taken a hit, or you may have even gone through a bereavement. Maybe you've gone through, a loss of a loved one. There could be like a settlement or a small inheritance, something of that nature that is showing up. It may be a bit bittersweet. All right. So an ending, bringing in maybe more stability here for you, or letting go of anxiety around finances as things start to pick up pace here. Now, when it comes to love, because you do have romance here, some of you, look at that. There's been a shock. All right. When it comes to love, there's been a sudden change here, maybe some shocking news. Some of you, this news, you're like, wow, Peter, I haven't heard from Peter, maybe a cousin, or maybe an ex, or maybe, a friend of yours. It feels like you may have heard some news about an individual, and maybe it was sorrow. Maybe it was sadness here. Maybe this is someone that you had known, or maybe someone that you were closely connected to. But I feel like there's a surprise and epiphany here where you're seeing life through a new lens. This could be a massive transformation or a shock here. Maybe you found something out about, maybe a Queen of Pentacles or a Emperor here, and it kind of shook your belief system a bit, and it's going to leave you moving forward in a new direction. And yes, there may be some unknowns. Yes, there may be some uncertainty, but I feel like you are divinely guided, right? You are moving forward here with that Three of Wands. Now, for those of you that may be open to love. There may be some temptations here, okay? There may be some seduction. Now, whether it's the best thing or not for you, you have to trust your own judgment, your own discernment. But what I will tell you here is, because there's been a 10 of Swords, it feels like you've been maybe let down by an individual in the past, and maybe someone has not learned all of the lessons here, or maybe they have, right? You have to be on the same page. And I do see here, regardless of the choice that you make, I feel like you will make a choice that allows you to move forward instead of repeating a cycle again. You may have had to take a pause, or may have had to take a break to realign your energy centers here. This can be attraction, teasing, hooking up, third party, temptations, and maybe dating. So it just feels like if there's been something that's been a bit superficial, or maybe there has been a third party energy that has affected your relationship, it doesn't have to be cheating. It could be, external energies of some sort may have impacted or threatened or caused a little bit of tension between you and a partner. And for others of you, I feel like you're focusing on your abundance at this time. Maybe love isn't on the forefront, but I do see here that there could be a strong bond, maybe a strong partnership here that you are opening up to, even if you're not seeing it quite yet. It could be someone that you meet at work, and maybe there is something more that transpires, but this is about having a positive mindset. It is about gratitude and bliss, blessings, and manifestations. So there's definitely an abundant energy coming in for you when it comes to your stability, your safety, your security, your health, your finances. Now, when it comes to love, it does look like things have shocked you, okay? It does look like there's been some anxiety maybe around romance here, or even around maybe a commitment, okay? The Hierophant can be the card of marriage. And I see that there's been something, maybe your own feelings, maybe something shocks you, and it's something you are coming to terms with. Maybe it's something you've been sitting with for quite some time with the timing, and you may be realizing here what you truly want out of a relationship, or out of, a connection here. There may be a very important conversation that you are having with someone, or there may be a refresh needed between you and a partner, because things have maybe gone a little stagnant, or they've gone a little cold. So I definitely see some changes here when it comes to matters of the heart. And lastly here, you have the ocean. So let's take a look at the ocean archetype. Now, the ocean is the unconscious, the depths, the incomprehensible. The power of the ocean is unmatched. To step into its salty waters is to step into the unknown. There's the moon energy here as well. You can actually see like the moon energy here. All that is beyond our understanding, right? The ocean represents the unconscious, which is all that is beyond our understanding. We cannot live within the ocean. We cannot claim it, manage it, or own it. It rejects our every attempt to dominate nature, yet amid its overwhelming power, it calls to us, inspires us, and invigorates our life on land. It dissolves the little us into the big us. When the energy of the ocean is present, there is change stirring that is beyond any change you've known before. The ego must dissolve. The saline swells work on your very cells. Your fibers, your deepest underlying beliefs. Like Aphrodite, we rise from the ocean's froth, a new being. Life is change. Let the wave crash. Wow, that's powerful. When it's showing up as the light aspect, which we talk about the shadow and the light, right? The sun and the moon. When it's showing up as the light, which it is, it's deeper than deep. This is big dreams. This is discovery. When it's showing up as the dark, it's subsumed, drowned, polluted, unpredictable. The ocean displays every emotion without shame. To witness its glassy, moonlit surface and its unforgiving storms is to know the full spectrum of the human experience. Study waves, touch their surface, get in the water. No matter where you live, each drop is part of the whole. The ocean is in every tear. And you have the tear, as I mentioned, on the 10 of Swords, that is watering something profound. I feel, Aquarius, this is incredible change, and it mirrors exactly what Spirit is bringing in for you. It says this is, right? This is a change that you've never known before. The ego is dissolving. Maybe that's part of this moon energy, right? Maybe this is you fully embodying who you are meant to become. If you want to go deeper in this energy, check out Shakespeare's The Tempest or The Raft of Medusa. All right, beautiful energy here. Aquarius, I hope you enjoyed your monthly reading. If so, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to share, like, subscribe, and hit that bell if you haven't already. Thank you so much for being here and tuning in. Lots of love.